Welcome back to Cinema Cycle. After a week-long hiatus, we are back to the Laserdisc box set of The Dawn of Sound. Today's movie will be Broadway Melody. An extravaganza to show off the technical prowess of Hollywood in the 1920s. Dawn of Sound is right. The sound quality on this movie is pretty bad, but of more interest, I think, is the idea that this is the early 20s, and you realize there really was a schism between Hollywood and Broadway. They were on opposite sides of the country, and they obviously had different philosophies about entertainment. Obviously, Broadway was much older. Hollywood was the new upstart at this point. So you're seeing a lot of New York mindset theatrical concepts here, not so much the fantasy world of Hollywood back at the time. And also, this is just a good chance for young, good-looking women to take their clothes off down to their underwear, which for the day was really risque. These were kind of like really girly shows for the time. It's really evident in these shows from the early 20s that the women in the movies are just window dressing. They're just bimbos. They're almost childlike, and they just prance around in their slips and their underwear, trying to look risque. Obviously, they're trying to go for a titillation factor here to keep Farmer John coming back from the farm to pay his 2 bits to see the movie. It's interesting to note that in the theatrical production that they're making the movie about here, there's actually a character who's obviously gay. He's obviously the production designer for the stage play, and there's just gay references all throughout it. So, interestingly enough, back in 1920s, at least in New York, they were still that underground subculture that, yeah, you're gay, you wear lavender, you like pink, you talk effeminately. I find it kind of an interesting pun that the show that they're putting on here, the Broadway show, was produced by a guy named Zanfield, and obviously the biggest producer at the time back in New York was a guy named Ziegfeld. So, kind of a little play on words there, trying to get a little name recognition by changing a few letters.